Hi, I'm Reid, editor of the Edison Report, and we are here at LEDucation, and this is our C-Suite series. Today I'm joined by Avraham Mor of Morlights. Avi, welcome.
Manny, good to see you.
Well, thank you for sitting down with me. I always enjoy speaking with you. And tell us a little bit about what you've seen at the show so far.
Well, honestly, we're into hour number 2, I think it is. I've made it 4 aisles.
Okay, the show is packed.
This is the show to attend. I have my entire team here. We come
how
here.
many?
We are currently 4, looking to expand.
Okay.
We got to get it out on your on Edison Report.
Okay.
But
run an ad for you. We're happy to do that.
But we are. We got all 4 of us here, and this is the show. Like Light Fair, we had people out in Germany, and they got stuck too. I saw you had some challenges. But this is the show. I mean, I'm 4 aisles in and having great conversations. My favorite thing about this show, especially for us right now, we have a very big project in Chicago, and I was just told that there isn't any VE happening.
Okay.
So there's some really happy manufacturers right now.
Okay, and there's going to be a happy client because you're going to get good quality lighting.
Exactly, right. I mean, that's the whole point of this, right? Happy clients, good products, good projects, and that's what we do.
All right, you do some other things too. Tell me about an upcoming podcast I'm hearing a little bit about.
So we are going to start a podcast called Lighting Matters, and my co-host is Lisa Reid from Reid Burkett in St. Louis, and also part of Wild, right? And the goal is to talk about lighting issues. There are so many things we talk about in these conversations. There's things we talk about on show floors, but it's not happening. The industry isn't changing fast enough. And, we still have problems with pricing. We still have problems with getting the products we select on jobs. Right. And until we actually start talking about it, recording, putting it out there, and getting other lighting designers, other manufacturers, other distributors, other people saying, yes, I agree with that. Yes, we need to change. Hey, that's a great way of doing that. It's not going to happen.
Well, I sat in on a very enthusiastic discussion at IALD in Banff talking about overage.
Uh-huh.
And hearing from the lighting designers what they thought about overage. And it was a great conversation. Of course, then it just stopped. So I think your podcast would be a wonderful thing. And when you do have that, please let me know. And we would love to link to it. And we will sure promote it any way that we can.
Yeah, the biggest challenge, as you know, is getting out there with this. And while we, as an industry, are really great at talking to ourselves, as we create partnerships like with your group, then we get out there to more and more people, and then it starts to attract. And you hit the nail on the head. We have a conference in Banff talking about a very important subject, and there's the end of the conversation. And none of those people were recorded talking about it, so there isn't a conversation that continues on. Listen, like it, hate it, whatever you want with overage. As a lighting designer, I'm not paying for overage. My client is. And my client just needs to know about it. Whether they like it or not, or they want to know more about it, they can then ask that person about it. But without having the conversation, it doesn't go anywhere.
So your podcast, Light Matters?
Lighting Matters.
Lighting Matters. You're going to hit some of these controversial subjects.
Absolutely.
That are important to the industry.
And there's going to be some wrestling. There's going to be some conversation. I mean, there's going to be this is the way it's always been done, so why are we going to change things? But it has to change, Randy. We can't keep talking to ourselves, and we can't keep the secretness of pricing and overage and markups and all this stuff from happening. And we can't keep making it, it's probably a longer conversation, but it is advantageous for a client to hire a lighting designer in the same town as the project because of the nonsense that happens between agencies and overage and all that other stuff.
I have a small company, Lumefficient, and we focus on heavy industrial lighting, hazardous lighting, and I'm not a proponent one way or the other of overage, but I see some of the numbers that come in to me, and it's like, holy cow, that was a very nice overage job.
Right.
So, and people
And listen, like we get bought lunch. We had one of our employees out at Light and Build. There are costs in the industry, right? There are costs for the rep agencies.
Right.
This all happens.
Right.
And everybody knows this.
Right.
Everybody buys lunch or whatever, but
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the state of the lighting design industry. Is it healthy right now?
I think it is getting healthier.
Okay.
I think the complexity that the industry has created is helping the lighting design world. Complexity
in products.
in products, in controls, in specification, in getting the products on the job. It comes back to overage again, right? Like all of that makes my job even better, and it gets people and our clients to understand the advantages of hiring a lighting designer. There's still lots of projects that are happening without lighting designers. But I think the state of lighting design is only going to grow and stronger, but we need those avenues to talk about it. I think the biggest challenge with lighting design becoming bigger is it's not talked about enough. And everybody's a lighting designer, right?
Well,
I mean, you can talk through the channels, everybody's a lighting designer.
how important are lighting controls in your design?
So we're I think we are a unique lighting design firm where when we start a project, we ask a very simple question. How fast does the light have to turn off? Like this? Or can it be like that? And that answers a very simple question. Are we using DMX or are we using Dolly? Zero other options.
Okay.
And everything we do is based on that. So the question I always ask people is, would you plug a computer into a dimmer?
Great question. That is a great question.
Do you know every single light fixture sitting behind us on this floor, the floor below, the floor to the side of us? This is a huge show. These are all computer chips. And there are still people plugging them into dimmers. We're taking a digital technology and plugging it into an analog source. Or we're using a fluorescent standard to try and dim a digital source. Lighting controls is the most important thing, and unfortunately, well, lighting design is the most important thing. A design has to work with controls for codes and all those other things, but for usability. And the two things are interconnected. They can't be disconnected.
Okay, I interviewed you for Steppenwolf Theater, which was a beautiful, beautiful job. Can you tell our audience any current projects you've got similar to that one in the beauty and the scope?
We are still working on an airport in Alabama. And
Roll Tide?
Very excited, yeah. Mobile, Alabama is getting a new airport. Excited to be working on that. New restaurant in Miami, and we're going to be winning an award later today for a school we did. Everybody loved fluorescent, right? T5HO, greatest thing since sliced bread. Have you tried to buy a lamp lately?
Can't.
Or a Mark 10 two-wire dimming ballast?
Mark 10, advanced. I remember that. I remember that.
So this school was built right at that time.
Okay.
And they couldn't get parts. So we did a multi-year renovation because of COVID, and we renovated everything to LED. The classrooms had like 10 switches on the wall for all the different zones. We now have a single keypad. Unique issue, all those switches were 277. So a 277 volt keypad. Does anybody make that anymore? And everything's Dolly, and we have white tuning going on too.
Holy cow.
And the ceiling is a tongue and groove wood ceiling. And it's gorgeous. It's a school, Indian Community School is connected to nature. And there's copper and stone and wood. It's this gorgeous building. And we always talk about the project as fluorescent and metal halide were not the products that would have let you connect to nature back in the early part.
But that's all we had.
Right. Now we can actually light this project the way it was architecturally designed.
And you said an award. I bet maybe that's a Tesla award from the National Lighting Bureau.
Absolutely.
Well, I was a judge, so I'm a little bit familiar with the project you're talking about. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much.